Welcome to the Magic Mindfulness Podcast, where we sprinkle a little bit of magic into your daily life. I'm your host, Rachel Hupp, and I'm so excited to set out on this mindfulness journey with you. As someone who's experienced the transformative power of mindfulness firsthand, I am here to guide you through the wonders of living a more mindful and joyful life. This podcast is your space for embracing mindfulness and cultivating a deeper connection to yourself and the world around you. Together, let's uncover the magic within and sprinkle a little extra sparkle into your day. Join me as we explore practical tips, inspiring stories, and transformative practices to help you thrive in every aspect of your life. Let's dive in and embrace the magic of mindfulness together. Hello, my friend, and welcome to another episode of the Magic Mindfulness Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Hupp, and today I have a fun solo episode for you. I'm going to talk to you about my experience, my journey with trying to chase the American dream and how that kind of backfired for me, but taught me some very valuable lessons along the way and led me eventually to living a life beyond my wildest dreams, living a life that I am just so in love with every single day. So let's go ahead and dive in. Thank you so much for being here with me today. So now, I don't know about you, but I am 43 years old now, and I have spent years of my life chasing this American dream, right? I got the corporate job, the house, I was trying to create this picture perfect life, but when I accumulated all these things, it wasn't as picture perfect as I had imagined it would be, right? I wasn't fulfilled. And we'll get more into that in a few moments. But, at some point, if you're like me, many of us begin to ask ourselves, is this all there is? Now, I know that I did. And so that's why today, like I said, I want to share my story of how I found my way back to what really matters to me, in case it inspires you, in case it's something that you can connect with or resonate with, and how over time I have created space for my to really build this life of my dreams and to help other women to do the same. So, I think there's a good chance you can relate to my story. You may have been where I've been. I went to college. I bounced around from job to job for a little while, but then I got this corporate job and I thought I had made it, right? I really thought that things were going to, like, this was the American dream, right? I got this really good job. And the thing is, I was not fulfilled. I was working initially 12-hour swing shifts. So that means you're flip flopping between 12-hour daylight shifts to 12-hour nighttime shifts. I felt like a zombie. I wasn't sleeping. I mean, it was not healthy for me at all. And so I finally moved to a daylight position. And that was so much better for my sleep cycle. It was so much better for my health. However, the stress was overwhelming. So I traded one challenge, one struggle for another. And I think that, a lot of us have been through these stages and seasons of our lives where, you're really just trying to figure out how to do the best you can with what you've got in front of you, right? And so I knew that those 12-hour swing shifts were not sustainable for me. And so I took the first daylight opportunity that I could, and that position evolved into other positions of more responsibility and more stress, right? And so um, I just, I wasn't fulfilled. I thought at the time that I had to keep climbing this ladder, but my happiness, my health, my relationships with myself and with others, they were starting to pay the price. I really just wasn't fulfilled. And when I was 30 years old, I bought my first house. I was so excited about this. The thing is, though, I couldn't decide if I wanted to live way out in the country or if wanted to live in the city, like in the middle of things, so I could walk everywhere. I couldn't decide. I didn't really know what I wanted. I didn't have that sense of clarity. And so I thought, well, I'll find something in the middle. And so I did. I found something in the middle, which was neither of the things that I thought I wanted. It was a hodgepodge of the two. And let me tell you, that was not what I wanted. You live and you learn. I found out along the way. So I bought this cute house. It was about 1,400 square feet on a three-quarters of an acre. And I was so excited, my friend. I was so excited. I thought I had arrived. I did it. I've got this amazing job. I mean, it stressed me out. I couldn't sleep. And I thought about it all the time. I was on call all the time. I took my computer on vacation with me. But I had this amazing job, right? I was chasing the American dream and I caught it. I bought my own house. I did it. But you know what? That house was way bigger than I needed. It was just me, and I had at the time 3 to 4 dogs and one cat. And what happened was it was a 3 bedroom house on three-quarters of an acre, like I said. And so with working full time, um, and trying to keep up with the housework and the yard work and my health, my fitness, my relationships, I felt like I was always behind. Like if I caught up on the housework one weekend, then the yard work would get behind. If I caught up on the yard work one weekend, then the housework would get behind. This American dream of buying and getting my own house, along with this American dream of climbing this corporate ladder, for me, what they taught me was that those values didn't align with my core values. Those were not my values. I was chasing these dreams because I thought that I had to, because I thought that was the path that laid out for me. And so I started to really do some inner work, right? To tune into what made me happy. What were my priorities? What were my core values? What really and truly mattered to me? And what truly matters to me is my health, my loved ones, travel, time out in nature, space for fun and hobbies. I didn't want to be stressed out anymore. I didn't want to be sleep deprived. I didn't want to be so stressed out that I was getting impatient and snappy with the people that I cared about because I was so frustrated on a day to day basis, right? So I don't know. Maybe you can relate with that because I feel like when we are under high levels of stress, the ones that are closest to us, the ones that we love the most, those are the ones that get the brunt of our dissatisfaction with life, right? And so as I started to connect more deeply with my own core values, I was able to connect with those core values to help me to guide me to make choices that were more aligned with the life that I wanted to be living. And so over time, I gradually shifted into positions with less stress, lateral moves, no more climbing the corporate ladder. And that's what works for me. That may not be what works for you, and that's totally fine. You have to think about what really matters to you. But for me, I wanted the work life balance. I am not living to work, I am working to be able to travel, to be able to remodel my little cabin. I'll get to my cabin in a minute. Um, but that's really all I want. I want to be able to travel and I want to be able to remodel my little cabin. I don't need to make a ton of money. I want to make enough to get by. I want to make enough to live the life that I want to live that's aligned with my core values. But I don't have to keep climbing that ladder. I don't have to keep making more and more and more. And so, when I really sat down and evaluated this for myself, because I don't know, you're kind of the expectation I thought was to just keep going up, to keep moving up, to keep striving for more, 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 more. And that stressed me out. It wasn't good for my health, physically or mentally. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't fulfilled. The quality of my day to day life was just not what I had expected it to be after, chasing this dream for so long and finally reaching it. And then just realizing that it left me feeling dissatisfied. And so, as I reevaluated those priorities, I started thinking about I want to travel more. I want to have a garden. I want to have more time with my loved ones. I want to have more time to take care of myself. I want to sleep a full 8 hours at night. And so, as I struggled again, I said I struggled with the housework. I struggled with the yard work. I couldn't keep up with my house. I was stressed out at work. So, again, over time, I was able to shift into a role that was much less stressful. And over time, I So I feel like it's like a bell curve, right? So I shifted from positions of less stress to more stress, and then eventually less stress. And now the position that I have in now is amazing. Like, I am in a space where I get to work from home. My colleagues are amazing. We're all so supportive of one another, and work-life balance is truly valued. And family and health are prioritized. And so I've found myself in an amazing space. And so on the work front, that is super, super amazing. Now on the home front, like I said, the 1,400 square foot house, it was just way too big for me. And so I had always imagined living in a little cabin in the woods. Now, I told you before that I had been thinking about whether I wanted to buy something way out off the beaten path or something in the city. And I ended up settling for something in the middle. I had this little postage stamp lot. It was actually a decent sized lot, 3/4 of an acre. I mean, nothing to sneeze at. It was great. But I had houses literally on every side of me, beside me, in front and behind me, and on every single diagonal, there was a house. And I am very introverted and very private. And so, what that taught me was that A, if you're thinking of one or the other, don't settle for something in the middle, at least in this scenario, because it satisfied neither of my wishes. I couldn't walk to town. Town was 20 minutes away, and I had neighbors on every side of me. But what I realized, what I really craved was the slower pace of life, the peace and the quiet and the nature, and being able to walk my dogs without having a leash on them every single time. And it's interesting because growing up, my dad had a little cabin in the woods back in West Virginia. And I like to say I helped him build it, but I was 2 years old. So you know what a help I was, right? But anyway, the family has a little one-room cabin in the woods in West Virginia. And growing up as a kid, I just always pictured that I would live there one day. Now there's no running water and no electricity, but I used to love to read those Laura Ingalls Wilder books, Little House on the Prairie, right? And so that was just the life that I loved, the idea of the life that I loved. And so growing up, I just always pictured that I would live in this tiny little one-room cabin in the woods and I would work from there. And I was young. I didn't know how to deal with the electricity or, no water. Actually, you know what? You couldn't even drive a car there. You had to hike in. So I had pictured hiking my groceries in. And so when I found my little cabin that I live in now, when I found my little cabin, it's a little 700 square foot cabin in the woods off the beaten path, but in a fairly convenient location for my life. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's my dream house." Now, when I bought this space, I'll tell you what, it was crooked and sagging. I like to say that it was smiling. So it's on stilts on the side of the mountain, and it was sliding down the mountain, and the roof had sagged so bad that it looked like it was smiling. So I said it had a good energy. It was a happy house. And so I bought this falling down cabin in the woods, 700 square feet, less than half the size of my old house. And I love it. It was I mean, it's been a journey. I'm not going to lie. It has been a journey and it has come so far over the years. But because it was such a fixer upper when I bought it, I have been able to truly make it my very own. So now the energy in this space is so aligned with what I want, with my core values. Um, and the funny thing is, when you align with your core values, it's amazing how the universe just brings to your life these things that are in alignment with your values and your goals. And so I am not even joking. 2 weeks before I was scheduled to close on this cabin, I met my now partner. So that was about 8 years ago. And um, it just turns out that he had wanted a home with a good view, and our goals, our values were so aligned. And it's just been this magical journey, right? This adventure of a lifetime where I buy my dream house, I meet my soulmate, and everything conspired to help me to create this dream life once I was in alignment, once I was clear on my core values, on what I really wanted out of life. So that's just a fun aside because I think it's I mean, it may be a coincidence. I don't know, but I do think it's fun how these little synchronicities and serendipities arise in our lives. And so I moved from a 1,400 square foot house into a 700 square foot cabin in the woods. And in that process, I gave up over 75% of my belongings. I didn't bring, let me think, did I bring any furniture? I brought the furniture my granddaddy made and my dad made, but I didn't bring anything else. I didn't bring my bed. I didn't bring my table. I didn't bring my couch. None of that would have fit in this tiny little cabin. Um, it was all designed for a bigger space. My coffee table, my dining room table, my end tables, none of that had a space here. So I didn't bring any of that. In fact, I slept on the floor for 3 months when I moved into this cabin because there was just so much to do. And I didn't know what kind of energy I wanted to bring into this space yet. I had to kind of feel it out. And I'm happy to report to you and because I say happy because this is alignment with my core values. Now, your values may be different, and that's totally fine. But I have not replaced very many of those items at all. So, yes, I did buy furniture that was more suitable for the small cabin. Um, but I haven't replaced most of those clothes. All of the things in my house, like I wouldn't say I'm a minimalist because I'm far from a minimalist, but anything that doesn't bring me joy, anything that doesn't have value or purpose, I let go of it. And I periodically revisit my belongings to make sure that everything that I own brings me joy. And actually, I brought a book with me today. It's one that I highly recommend. I really enjoyed reading it. One of my friends recommended it to me. It's The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up: The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing by Marie Kondo. And I think there's a good chance you've heard about this, but I love the approach, like connecting on an energetic level with the things in your life and asking, does this spark joy? Does this make me feel good? Because it's getting us out of our head and into our body. And so, like I said, I decided to simplify, tune into my values. I got clarity on what really mattered. And as I started living more authentically, amazing things happened. Like I said, I met my fiance. These days, let me tell you, I get to hike every single day. I live in the woods. My dogs don't have to be on a leash anymore unless we leave our property. I have space to breathe. Now, alongside my personal journey, I have been running a yoga and wellness business since 2016, and I love it. This is on the side of my full time job. And so I fell into that trap of thinking that I needed more and more and more and more and more, right? I kept thinking that I had to constantly expand. I got more and more certifications. I started offering more programs and retreats and more. But just like with my house, it started to feel cluttered. It started to feel overwhelming. I started to feel pulled in too many different directions. And so these days, I am really in this mindset of simplifying. I'm 43, going on 44, and I really want the second half of my life to be the best half of my life. And my life right now is amazing. I have a great job. I have an amazing supportive fiance. I live in my dream home. I live out in the woods. I get to hike every single day. My life is amazing. I wake up in the morning and I feel inspired. I feel motivated. I feel passionate. I feel purpose. I feel fulfilled. But my little side gig, I let it get out of control. Well, I shouldn't say that. Again, I feel like I was chasing this American dream. I was chasing this ideal that was never mine to begin with. I kept thinking that I had to do more, be more, learn more, know more, offer more, serve more. And the reality is that that's just not the case. And so I'm bringing that Marie Kondo approach into my business too. If it doesn't spark joy on a heart level, on a soul level, if it feels like it's pulling me in directions away from my core values, then I'm making the tough decision to let it go for now. And it's a constant evolution, right? Life is a constant evolution, business is a constant evolution. I'm simplifying in all areas of my life. I am focusing on what I'm passionate about. And right now, that's yoga and mindfulness because mindfulness, this mindfulness connection to my body, trusting myself, trusting my body, trusting my inner wisdom, and allowing myself to live from that place of trust has been life changing for me. And throughout my coaching practice, I have been able to guide other women to creating their own mindful lives, right? They're ready to align their lives more with their own values, their own core values, so that they can create this life that feels fulfilling and satisfying. And they're living up to their own ideals and not these ideals that we feel like society set for us. And so part of the simplification is reducing the number of offerings that I'm putting out into the world on a regular basis and creating more of a community, a home space, a connection point for us to meet on a regular basis where I can pour my heart and my soul and my love. And so from that, the Zen space was born. And the Zen space, I love it. It's so much fun. It is a monthly online yoga and mindfulness membership. We practice yoga, we set monthly intentions, and it's really designed to help you to get out of your mind so much, get into your body more, trust yourself from the inside out so that you can slowly and steadily live more authentically, more aligned with your core values, with your soul values. Now, in the Zen space, you get live sessions on yoga online almost every week. And of course, the replays are available, and that's to make it accessible to fit into your busy life. So, if you don't want to join us for the live sessions, or if they don't fit into your schedule, you can schedule the replay into your calendar at a time that works for you. I've also got a growing library of on demand yoga and mindfulness practices. So you can practice those whenever they work for you. And then, like I said, we've got a monthly intention setting practice. And this is to help you move throughout your month from a place of mindfulness and intention rather than that place of reactivity, so that you are moving through your days from this place of choosing who you want to be and why, and how you want your life to look like, and why is that important to you, rather than moving day to day throughout your life from the space of hustle and bustle and hustle culture and the American dream, chasing dreams that are not your own. What are your dreams? What are your core values? What do you want? Is your life, the life that you've created, the life that you're living, aligned with your personal values? Are you fulfilled? Are you satisfied? Because if you're not, my friend, my invitation to you is to take a step back. Marie Kondo, your life. Does this spark joy? Does this make you happy? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you know what makes you happy? Now, that's a whole episode for another day, because that was a whole story that I had to go through myself when I lost myself. I had to reconnect with who I was and what even I wanted, what made me happy in the first place. So maybe you're there, and that's okay. But if you are ready to invest in yourself, if you want to create space to connect with yourself on a soul level, at a core level, I would love to invite you to join us over in the Zen space. You can learn more and sign up in the link in the show notes and the link below. And I just want to remind you, this was a long way of coming around to saying that in my own life, I was chasing this dream for so long. I spent so much time and money and energy into chasing somebody else's dream. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even realize it. I didn't even know what my own dreams were. And so now that I do know what I want, it's amazing how fast it all came together, how fast it comes together, and how it continues to support me in aligning my life more authentically with my core values, with my heart desires. And so, to leave you with a final thought, it is so worth it to take some time to get to know yourself. What do you want? What makes you happy? What are your dreams? As you move throughout your daily life, where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel dissatisfied? Where do you feel inauthentic, like you're living someone else's dream, like you're living someone else's life? You deserve a life, my friend, that feels true to who you are. And I work with a lot of women who are my age, middle age and beyond. And I just want you to take it to heart that it's never too late to get started. It's never too late to simplify. It's never too late to change course. And it's never too late to let go of what's not serving you, to make space for what does. So if it feels aligned for you, my friend, I would love to see you over in the Zen space. And either way, cheers to our journey of living more authentically, one practice, one step, and one day at a time. Thank you again so much for tuning into another episode of the Magic Mindfulness podcast. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that it resonated with you on some level, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Thanks so much for tuning into the Magic Mindfulness podcast. Until next time, remember to trust yourself, trust the universe, and embrace the magic of mindfulness. And if today's episode resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe so you can receive regular doses of inspiration and practical tips for your mindfulness journey. Be sure to share this episode with a friend who could use a sprinkle of magic in their day. And don't forget to like this episode and leave a comment sharing your thoughts and experiences. Your support means the world to me as I continue spreading the magic of mindfulness. Take care, my friend, and I'll see you next time.